Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, July the 29th, 2025. Tuesday, July 29th. Look, still all about Willow Bridezillo for me. I think this is probably the last day that I'm going to completely feature her. And that's the wrong one. Oh my goodness, which one did I put there? This one is the one that I want to be the feature. And then I'll get to the other one. Now, remember Willow shows up. Oh, you know what? I've got a video clip. Let me do the video clip. And then I'm going to come back to, talking about it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to do this video clip. And this way we can see what happened, right? All right. Share sound. Here we go.
Really, sweetie, I'm here. Be quiet. Let go. No, he cannot see you like this. I am his mother. Really? Take a look at yourself. Look at yourself. You're in your wedding dress. You have mascara running down your face. You are a mess. You were gonna scare your son, Willow. Riley?
What's going on?
Here. Everything's fine. Michael, I did what you wanted, okay? I didn't marry Drew. So now you have to let me see my kids. Had to hear Willow. He has to know that she's here.
You're leaving now.
Not without seeing my kids. I did it. Michael, Drew's not in the picture anymore. And since he was the problem...
No, this is the problem, Willow. You, hysterical, is the problem. Our kids can't see you like this.
Mommy! I will take care of it. I will take care of it. No. No! No!
Please, come on.
No! I hear Mommy. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Why was she crying? Why are you being so cruel?
I am protecting our kids.
Didn't you hear me? I didn't marry Drew. I will never marry Drew. It's over. He's out of my life.
Okay,
for
we
good.
can discuss what that future looks like at some point, but not tonight. I will. You need to go home and get yourself cleaned up. You're not thinking straight, all right?
Don't
If you would,
understand.
you never would have been here.
Not being with Wiley and Amelia is killing me.
All right, that's enough.
I can't stand it.
You're not seeing the kids tonight. That's final.
Drew's a liar and a fake. He was sleeping with Nina, my own mother. Every time I say it, it makes my stomach turn, but my eyes are open. I was wrong, and you were right. Isn't that what you want to hear?
Look, I am glad that you finally know the truth, but it doesn't change anything, Willow. The judge's ruling still stands.
It changes everything. Drew and I are finished. And if that's not enough, I'll come back to you. The four of us can be a family again.
There was a time when all I wanted to hear were those words. It's too late. Willow, you can't just snap your fingers and undo this.
Then tell me what I can do. I will do anything you want. Anything.
There's nothing to do except follow the ruling that Judge Heron laid out for us.
You? With full custody of me? With no
For
visitation?
now. Which is why you need to leave.
Or what?
Or I'll have security escort you off the property.
No. No, Michael, no! Please!
All right. There we go. Now, yesterday I was saying just the whole Cardi need to take her into that mirror she has in her little foyer, right? Well, she did. Look at yourself, because Willow was scaring me, right? She looked at herself in the mirror, and everybody, you could swear she saw June Cleaver, right? She didn't see nothing wrong with herself. She immediately went to Wiley, and Carly is trying to keep a hold of her, and she couldn't, because now you hear little Wiley saying, "Mommy!" Oh my goodness. So Willow's trying to take off to Wiley. You saw it, and Carly's like, "Oh my God." And Michael comes in just in the nick of time. But do you see what Willow did as soon as she saw Michael? See, with Carly, she was bulldozing Carly. Michael, Oh, Michael, listen, everything's okay, Michael. Oh my goodness. And then when Michael had to take her outside, and did you see how she was getting ready to go and just full meltdown mode, right? I have to see my children. He's like, not tonight, like, stop it. And she like, whoa, hey, that didn't work. No, Drew, you're right. You were right. That's what you want to hear. I know. But you were right. Drew's a liar, and I'm never going back to him. So everything's okay. And he's like, no, it's not okay. Okay, look, I will even come back to you. The way she flinched, and as she's saying those words, those nauseating words to her, I'll even come back to you because that's what you want. He is that pathetic, Willow, that he still wants you after you maligned him, after you signed your kids over to your boyfriend, all of this, but you're saying that's what you want. And he said, oh, there was a time when all I wanted to hear was those words, but that ship has sailed. Uh-uh. We're going to abide by the judge's ruling. Um, I still think it's a fine line with visitation because I went back and I heard the judge's ruling. She said, I am awarding full physical and legal custody to the father. And then Rick immediately said, Your Honor, we'd like to address visitation. And she said, visitation will be set at a later date after the children have undergone psychiatric evaluation. Now, did that mean that Willow could not see? Well, I mean, did it? To me, that was a fine line. Because to me, what she's saying is the set schedule that we will make, whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week, her set ruling she was going to do later. But to me, with Michael having the physical and legal custody, he did or does have the right to say, you could come see your kids for an hour tomorrow, but I will be right there in the room. Now, I know we have some legal folks in Comment Corner. Am I interpreting it right or wrong? Let me know. Because, I mean, I listened to it again and I thought she did not say. And Willow Corinthos Tate, you're not to see your children till I decide. I mean, I didn't hear all that, but let me know. Let me know. Was it implied? I just didn't know. Right? So Carly is inside trying to console Wiley. Because Wiley is like, Mommy, I heard Mommy. She was crying. Why was she? She goes, listen, Wiley. And so she's trying to talk to him, and then they went back to Michael. So when Michael said, Willow, you're going to leave now. And she looked at him and she said, or what? Or I'm going to call security and have you removed from the grounds. Oh, Michael, no, Michael. And he went I love it the way he will just dismiss and go into the house, shut the door. Oh, she slid down on her knees and looking through the glass pane window there, and she sees Carly consoling, hugging her son, Carly's grandson, Wiley. And she's, Wiley, you can hear her. Wiley, Mama's here, Wiley. And he's just hanging on to his grandma. See, my thing is, why'd you leave him there? Take him further into the living room, Carly. Bottom line, where she's at with Wiley, there's another set of double doors. I would have closed those double doors so he wouldn't be able to hear her. Because if he would have just turned his head, he would have seen her. Right? No. So anyway, Michael comes in and he's, you know, trying to console Wiley too, standing there with Carly, and Willow's just there. Oh, oh my goodness gracious. Now, Nina, she calls Curtis and Portia to the MetroCorp pool top to talk to them. And she tells them what happened, tells them that Willow called it off. She found out about me and Drew, and she wants nothing to do with Drew, and she also wants nothing to do with me. I've lost my daughter forever. And so Portia said, okay, so who told her? Now, I don't remember. Curtis left the office. He didn't tell Portia and Trina where he was going. So maybe, and Curtis and Portia aren't that communicative, right? So Nina says, I was on my way to tell her, but she confronted me with the truth. And so Curtis looked at her and he said, Nina, I'm the one that told her. And she looked at him. She said, why? After all this time? He said, because this was my last ditch effort. I thought that if I told her, she would open her eyes and not marry Drew. And Drew would feel he has no use for me and Portia anymore. And he would stop blackmailing Portia. And Portia said, because I'm already set, pretty much to resign as co-chief of staff. I can't. I will not change Michael's medical records. Right? Now that Willow's this crazed, I'm telling you, she gonna do it. That's gonna be her undoing. That's gonna be her undoing. But anyway, I'll get to that later. So Nina says, okay, I see. And you felt that was the only, he goes, I'm sorry, Nina. I am so sorry. I did not want you to lose your daughter. I really did not. So, can you forgive me? So Nina looked at him and she said, you did the right thing, Curtis. He says, yeah, but you said you were on your way to tell her. And she probably would have accepted it better coming from you. I'm sorry I took that away from you. And she says, no, quite frankly, Willow probably would have said that I was lying, making it up to keep her from marrying Drew. She needed to hear it from an outside person. She says, and you happen to be the one that she actually heard it from. You opened her eyes. She says, so no. She goes, as much as I hate that I've lost my daughter, having her from under Drew's grip makes it worth it. And so I think Curtis said, well, let's hope she does, he goes, her anger towards you can soften. He said, but on the flip side, Nina, so can it for Drew. Like, she just might go back to him, right? So anyway, and see, that's my whole thing. You're crazed. You're saying all this, but let's see what you do tomorrow. Now, she's still laying there, sitting on the ground now, crying. I guess Michael called Elizabeth because look, Elizabeth doesn't have sixth sense. Elizabeth didn't know she went to Carly's. Elizabeth and Rick showed up because Rick he got to drive Elizabeth everywhere, right? I don't know how he got from under Ava's grip. So they go there and Elizabeth's talking to her and she's like, "You got to talk to Michael. You've got to talk to Michael. I've got to see my kids. You got to convince him to let me see my kids." And Elizabeth's like, "Honey, I know that's what you want, but right now it's not a good time for you to see your kids. You need to take some time. You need to just rest and really just absorb what's happened, Willow." Okay. And so she goes, Rick says, "Let me help you up." So Rick pulls her up and Elizabeth says, "So you need to just go home and get some rest." And she looked at Elizabeth. She goes, "Go home? I can't go to Drew's and I can't go to Nina's. Where am I going to go? I have no home to go to, no place to go." Now, remember when Nina said, "Let me buy you a nice house for you and your kids, place of your own"? Yeah, we would have that, right? Actually, that would have made the world a difference. Except Drew would have moved himself right in. But guess what? That's now you kick him out. But you can't kick him out of his house that he chose and bought with you in mind, allegedly. So anyway, Elizabeth does take her home and, trying to comfort her. She gave her a little relaxant, you know, to help her sleep and help her relax. So she's gonna Liz says, "You can stay with me as long as you need to." Of course, she's gonna say that. Of course, she's gonna do that. So anyway, that's where it left with Willow. Now, Drew and Martin scaled the Quartermain fence. I think they need to electrify that fence, don't you? Put some of that barbed wire that twirls around that's going to rip you up if you try to jump it, something like that. Because you can't tell me that Martin, with his old behind, scaled that fence, right? Or was it a wall? Yeah, it's a minor detail. But it is easier to scale a wall than a fence. Well, no, because see, with a fence, you could get your feet in between anyway. They get they get over it. And Drew just walks in the door. Tracy and Cody were coming out the little living room because Molly had him worried, saying he need to check that pimple on his back because it's different colors and it ain't right. And Tracy goes, "You gotta check it." And she's like, What are we doing?" And he goes, "It's supposed to be a multicolored growth or pimple or multicolored." And Tracy goes, "All I see is a freckle on your back. That's it." And he puts his shirt down like that, Molly. Right? So they're walking out, and Drew just comes walking right into the Quartermain house. And she says, "What are you doing here? Get out." And he says, "I want to talk to Willow. I need to see Willow." And Tracy looked at him and says, "You lost your bride already?" And Cody stands there and now he's cheesing. He is cheesing up a storm. And so he goes, well, I think he said, "We didn't get married." And so Cody says, "She came to her senses. Good for her." So Tracy said, "Did she leave you at the altar?" Right? And he goes, "No, she confronted me in front of everybody." And she goes, What happened?" "She found out about me and Nina. Nina waited until right before the wedding to tell her." And Tracy chuckles up a storm, and Cody's just pleased. And she goes, "Well, and you mean to tell me Willow didn't understand?" And so he goes, what I don't understand is why didn't you use that leverage and tell her yourself? She said, because I knew the longer the secret is kept, the more impact it was going to have on Willow. And I was right. Except she's not thinking now her blackmail over over Nina is no more. Except for Nina already did what she wanted. Now Nina could just go and retract all that. But okay, right? So anyway, Drew says, I am, and Yuri comes busting in. Sorry, Mrs. Tracy. Sorry. They scaled the fence or the wall, whatever he said. And he goes, I will remove them right now. So he grabs Martin by the tie. And Drew says, I'm not going anywhere till I speak to Willow. Now, everybody, shouldn't common sense have prevailed? For one thing, did he see Willow's car? For two, why would the Quartermains allow Willow to come to their house in her wet? Why would they harbor her? They wouldn't. See, that was stupid. They would not allow, even if Michael was home, that would not be a safe haven. But do you see? That was Drew's insecurities. He's thinking, I can't let her get to Michael because Michael just might take her back. Michael's that desperate. So anyway, Yuri says, I will remove them now. And she goes, no, Yuri, you go wait in the living room with Martin. And she continues to talk to Drew. And Cody, and Drew says, you could go too. Or no, Martin told Cody, look, you probably should come with me. And he goes, I'm not leaving her with him. So Cody's standing right there. Now, the funny thing is, Martin's in there trying to get information on Monica from Yuri. Aston kind of allegedly on the sly, does she have many visitors? And who would they be? I mean, and Yuri finally, probably after the fourth question, he looked at him and he's like, what's all this questions for Miss Monica? Right? Dr. Monica. And Martin said, no, just, and Yuri's like, look, don't ask me nothing else. Right? So anyway, he comes back out. Tracy calls him and he comes back out. He goes, now you can throw him out. No, Drew says, I'm not going anywhere until I talk to Willow. So he goes to head up the stairs and Cody was going to stop him. And Tracy says, let him go. Let him go. And Cody says, so do you think we should let him see Willow? And she goes, Willow is not here. Like, why would she be here? Right? So Drew comes back from downstairs and she goes, find Willow. Right? And that's when she called for Yuri and said, now you can throw him out. And Drew says, no need. We'll leave on our own. So he leaves. He's mad. See, now he's going to know, or at this point, even if she had gone to Cardi's, he would know she wouldn't still be there. See, now her trail has gotten cold for him, and Drew hasn't thought Elizabeth yet, but he will. He will. So he leaves, and now what else? Jason had a good talk with Britt and about Britt, and she was saying she sees Britt everywhere. Britt is talking like she still thinks Britt is dead, and maybe she does. Right? Maybe she really does think she's dead. And Jason says, there's no record of her burial, her body being buried here in Port Charles. What happened? And then Obert said, Britta had changed. She started experiencing, after her relationship with you, she started experiencing different things, trying different things. And Britta said she wanted to be cremated. Go figure. Now, she didn't say what she did with the ashes. I'm surprised Jason didn't ask her. But just because Britta said she wanted to be cremated, to me, doesn't mean Britt cremated her. She left that open to me. I mean, to me, it was a little evasive. What do you guys think about that? But Britt truly, though, the way she's talking, I felt she truly feels her daughter's dead. If she knows Britta's alive, then she did a great act, a great acting act. So now they showed it is Britt, and she's taking some kind of medication, right, to probably keep her symptoms at bay. She's injecting herself, I guess, every night. I'm wondering, could this be some of the study that Dalton is working on? I don't know. What it could be. But she called the masseuse guy to come up, and I guess that's her little, gigolo man when she need a piece. But he was giving her massage, and she's like, "Yeah, no, not tonight, Thomas, no." And he goes, "Oh, okay, I mean, I'm ready to do whatever." And she goes, "You better get out now." He's like, "Whoa!" So he hightailed it out, and she's looking over Dalton's research, and to me, the files that she got out that bag, to me, she was not that pleased with the work. That's kind of the impression I felt. That's what I got about it, or out of it. And before she went to bed, she said, good night, Muta. Good night. Right. But it was funny when Jason found old Brett, she went to the reception to get that free liquor, right? And before she talked to him about Britta, she's laughing. Uh, you know, at Willow and Nina's pain, right? And she goes, "You know what? That I shouldn't do that. My niece and my grandniece are in pain. I shouldn't be laughing." She's like, "I shouldn't be laughing," but she thought it was funny. I love the actress though, Britt. She has good comic relief for a villainess, right? Which is another thing, another reason I really like Diane Miller. She's got great comic relief. She really does. So anyway, she was telling Jason how happy she was that at the end of Britta's life that she had met him. She says, "Because you profoundly changed her life." She says, "Now you hurt my daughter deeply when you married Carly." He goes, "I know. I know. And I hate that I did that. I never want to hurt Britta." But she says, "But obviously you and her worked through some issues, because she definitely came to you when she needed to rescue me. So thank you for that." But blah blah blah. That is it. Nothing else really happened today. But I was so, I mean, it was a good episode. Willow is not done. And the funny thing is, she's in this whole alternate universe to where nothing is her fault. Nothing. And she's a mile a minute with her talking. And look, she don't need to be nowhere near patients. Nowhere near them, right? Not in the state of mind that she's in. Oh my goodness, that woman is crazy. But I do believe she's going to be the one to try to tamper with Michael's test results. So now we're going to go ahead and do, and I'm so happy that, this actually turned out. I'm going to go ahead and get this started here. I got to get that going and stop it. Okay. I'm starting my media player, y'all. And it's deciding to take its sweet time. Hello, hello. Look, my computer decided it was gonna go ahead and do a little hiccup itself. I'm like, what is going on with my computer here? So it did a blink. Now I got to go all the way back, everybody, and get this going. Give me 1 second. Once I start doing this more regularly, because I have to go to a whole different setting in my computer in order to play what I need played. Okay, so here we go. There it is. And now I'm going to share my screen so that you can hear it. I'm really excited. Thank you so much. We had 2 callers that I could use. Oh, and look, let me repeat some of the requirements, okay? Please, no personal information. Do not come on and say your phone number. And don't give your address. This is the internet. Just your name and city or state. City and state, city or state, doesn't matter. But where I guess I said state your name and where you're calling from, some folks thought I meant their address. No, I had to delete all that, and no phone number either. But as far as keeping it under a minute, you all, those that did leave their messages, you did a great, great job. So it'll get easier. I know it'll get easier. Okay, everybody, let me go ahead and share my screen now. And here we go.
Hi, this is Lucy Lennon calling from South Central Pennsylvania. I'm calling to just say that I think that, I hope he doesn't, I hope Drew doesn't blackmail Willow with the information he knows about what she did with baby Daisy. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Hi, I am Resistor Linda Cardwell from Los Angeles, California, and GH gave the people what they wanted. And I am so proud that Willow had the backbone to stand up to Drew.
Excellent, excellent. That was phenomenal. Let me know in the comment section, could you hear that? But that's exactly what I'm talking about. It felt so good to hear voices, to hear a voice with the comments. So I was so, so pleased to be able to put that together. Let's go to Comment Corner now. And today we're starting from the middle down. Let me go to my trusty dusty timer. All right, and now we're going to start with M. Tyree says Martin is turning into a sleaze too. Not liking him much anymore. I don't like Martin at all. M. Tyree says, how can people just walk into the Quartermain resident? Where's their security? Well, you saw Yuri pulling up the rear. Drew just opened the door and makes himself at home and look, Drew says, and I'm not leaving. Oh, doesn't knock, crazy writing. And then Jacarly says, she said peanut butter and jelly, LOL. Thank you, Jacarly. So it was peanut butter and jelly. The Davis women can't cook. And then we have Jacarly says, glad that Willow knows some of the truth, but I still have no sympathy for her. And then I'm going to jump down to Leah. Leah says, I'm surprised Drew admitting to saying what he did to Wiley, or for Wiley to overhear. I'm curious why Nina let him blame her for telling the truth before the wedding when she simply confirmed it. That's because he doesn't know that she didn't tell Willow. He doesn't know. Martha says, Drew and I fell in love. That's what Nina said. What Willow says, fell in love. Marla says, I really enjoy your videos. Thank you, Marla. Ava was so funny. And then Selvina says, it was Michael who opened the door, not Carly. Sorry to burst your bubble. And as you could see today, it was definitely Carly. Michael wasn't even home. So it was Carly. And Jarvis says, here's another problem. Willow still doesn't know that Drew paid off the nurse in Germany to lie to Willow about Michael turning her away. And then Finest Fog says, did they have a sleepover? A laugh emoji. So that's when I was talking about little Scout, right? Karen says, I knew you would be excited. I was so excited. For those who didn't see the episode, there was a sweet scene with Wiley, Carly, and Jason. Yes, there was. Wiley was upset that his mother was marrying Drew, and Carly tried her best to explain how grown-ups sometimes can't live together anymore. Brennan cautioned Jocelyn not to catch feelings for Vaughn while they're playing a couple. They also lost the tracker, but he saw the courier and the backpack. But we saw the courier and the backpack. Bring the backpack to Britt Westbourne's in her lab. As it ended with Lisa at the bar at the reception, letting the bartender know she was celebrating the bride and groom didn't get married and probably no one else was coming. At the end with Jason talking about Britt, those scenes were all paled in comparison to the main event, which was so juicy for words, or too juicy for words. But I remember the days I can't watch, so I depend on your recaps, so I won't add those parts. Well, thank you so much for adding the parts that I didn't add. See, that's what Comic Corner is all about. You told a lot of things I didn't like. I didn't even have time to tell. So thank you for doing that. And then Sarah says, it was a great episode, right up there with those courtroom scenes where Michael got the kids. Yes, it was. I agree with you on that, Sarah. Donna said, phenomenal episode. Finally, Willow wakes up, but she can turn into Nell Jr. now. But she may turn into Mel Jr. now. I like Molly with Cody. We need to see more action there. Cody was a dud with Sasha. He was, to me, more boring with Sasha. Britt must not have her memories. Oh, she got her memories. Or owes whomever helped her. Remember, this reminded me of something. Today's episode. Britt's original plan. What was it? Brad Cooper was the only one she confided her original plan to. She was going to have her birthday party that night, remember? It was going to be the best birthday party bash and the first and only, but she was going to go hard. But she told Brad, the next day I'm going to be gone. And Brad was upset because she wasn't going to tell Brad where she was going. She said, because Brad knew she had Huntington's. And she says, I'm going to live with my disease and die with my disease on my own. She did not want her mother to actually know, right? But Liesl did find out. But Britt was not going to let her mother have to watch her go through the final stages. Her plan was always to go off on her own. And at this point in time, remember, Jason was dead or presumed dead. So there we have it. I think she's actually living out her plan, right? And then Donna says, phenomenal episode. No, I already read that part. And then Philly says, the fact that Drew's first thought is revenge speaks volumes for his character. Sarah says, totally agree with you. And Brenda says, I totally agree 100%. Willow is playing the blame game. She has nobody to blame but her own mind-controlled stupid. She didn't listen to anybody's self. Don't listen to anybody's self. I don't feel sorry for Willow at all. You're right. Drew has realized that Willow stalked baby Daisy, and he will definitely use anything to get Willow back, including blackmail. Because Drew was telling Martin, oh, I gotta find Willow because Willow has absolutely nobody but me. She has nobody else she could turn to. And that's by design. By design. But guess what? She turned to Elizabeth. That's what he's good at. So he thinks, which is blackmail. But I hope you said she tells Michael before Drew. Nah, she's not going to. She's going to try to do something wacky. Can use it to control her again, or maybe Nina can tell Michael about her and what she did to Daisy before Drew can use it in order to help Willow get the help she desperately needs. That is so true. And then Sarah says, Willow is beyond help. Well, nobody's beyond help. Yet the rest of the reveals and lies come out of Port Charles. Well, we need to out to all of Port Charles. Then send Willow and Drew and their new faithful co-member Kai off the show for good. Yeah, we shall see. And then Marie says, I hope she doesn't go to Carly's and grab the kids. Oh, she went to Carly's. And you know what? Had Michael not come in, I think Willow would have been ballsy enough. Because she would have had, especially Wiley, she would have had him so worked up and she would have been hanging on to him so tight, she would have walked right up. Carly would have had to fight her in front of little Wiley, because I honestly believe Carly would not let her just walk out that house. Carly would just go down, just take her down. You're not kidnapping my grandson. You're not going to do it. So anyway, everybody, that's Comic Corner. Thanks for all the comments. I hope you all enjoyed the Comic Corner voice line. Keep those calls coming in. I'll get a better groove, a better flow with it. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.